Trucking has been the lifeblood of Ontario's economy for nearly a century. This is our story. Before there was horsepower, there were horses. But Robert Simpson Company made history in 1898 by rolling out Ontario's first truck, an electric-powered unit with max payload of 200 pounds and a brisk top speed of 14 miles per hour. Ontario introduced the nation's first licensing law in 1910. The early trucker was tough, hard-working, and entrepreneurial. A mix of bad weather and deficient roads were early hurdles for the first truckers, but the economic benefits spurred governments to improve roads beyond city limits, resulting in business growth and true expansion of personal freedom. In 1926, the Automotive Transportation Association, the predecessor to OTA, was formed when 20 truckers joined to defend against rail industry attacks. At first, it represented less than 200 commercial vehicles, but after a couple of policy victories, the association grew quickly. By the mid-1930s, the association boasted over 800 operators, and its convention filled Toronto's King Edward Hotel to capacity. Canadians did a lot of the heavy lifting in World Wars I and II, both on the home front and on the battlefield. Motor transport was one of the greatest developments of the Great War. After the conflict ended, war surplus trucks were available to those who wanted to pursue trucking as a business. Trucking starts to become the dominant mode of transportation in Canada when a national rail strike in 1950 threatened to bring the Canadian economy to its knees. Trucking answered the call in full force to deliver vital goods, medicine, and livestock. The strike lasted 9 days, but logistics would never be the same, as shippers realized they could ship goods effectively by truck over long distances just fine. The economy would roll on wheels. Official deregulation became a reality in 1989, opening the market to stiff competition. A hell of a rate war erupted in the midst of recession and skyrocketing interest rates, causing established carriers to doubt whether they would survive the new environment. Instead, many OTA carriers not only endured the transition, but flourished, becoming stronger, smarter, and more efficient in the process. If the 80s was the decade of regulation, the 90s was the decade of truck safety. After a series of tragic wheel-off accidents in the mid-90s, OTA helped establish the most ambitious review of truck safety regulation in Ontario history. A decade later, on September 11, 2001, the industry narrative would change yet again. OTA and CTA worked feverishly to unclog trade gateways and ensure cooler heads prevailed when protectionism in the name of security threatened commerce. Thanks to those efforts, the border is flowing once again. As trucking gets greener, it also gets cooler. Autonomous heavy vehicles are not just for sci-fi fans anymore. It's here now and helping to improve fuel efficiency, safety, and productivity. While drivers won't ever truly disappear, they may evolve. OTA is engaged in preserving the role of the truck driver while helping to draw the roadmap for integrating future vanguard concepts. There's an old saying, "You can't get where you're going if you don't know where you've been." The strength and influence of the Ontario trucking industry is rooted in its people, the visionaries of the past, the innovators of today, and the leaders of the future, who will continue to shape our legacy. Thank you to all of them, and keep on trucking.